Okay, in today's video I'm going to be making a PS2 ultra slim console. I've seen a few people make these online and I thought I'd give it a go myself. Now before this one I actually made a Crash Bandicoot edition, but I didn't film it, so I thought I'd film it for this one. In the video here you can see me using Mesh Mixer, and what I'm doing is designing a Silent Hill themed system. So on this prototype I had the halo of the sun from Silent Hill, which would sit on top and be the power LED, and it would be illuminated by an EL panel. I did change my mind and you'll see why soon. So I decided to print the halo with a clear PLA plastic and a black top so that it would shine through. Sadly on the prototype didn't go to plan, even the cat didn't like it, and it actually printed one layer instead of 4. Now the reason I gave up on the EL panels is number 1, they give off a high pitched hum, and number 2, they have a really short shelf life. Say that 10 times fast.
Don't drop it.
Now we have the idea in place, let's fix the board up, ready to fit in the case. So first of all we have to cut along here, exactly in a straight line, but we have to remove this capacitor. Easiest way to do that is load up the solder on the iron, add some flux, put it across both sides of the capacitor and just push it down and it will come straight off. Next is cutting the board. This is how it looks when you do your first attempt, and then you clean it up with some sandpaper and it's nice and straight. Test fit it in the shell, see if it fits fine, and it does. And then we have to restore power back to the board. You do that by connecting these 2 points here, and now add 7 volts back to the regulator. After that, we're going to be using this switch as a power switch. So we need to cut these traces here. Slice through them like that, and now I'll enable it to be a power switch. I'm using this just for testing. This side goes to this point here, and the other side goes to ground. Now with all that work done, you can finally test it. So plug the power supply in, and you're going to press the eject lid switch. If the fan spins, you're all good. And as you can see, spinning, good as gold. If for any reason that isn't working, check your grounds on the side where the board's been cut, because they're probably touching. I wanted to do something that no one's done before, and add an intro sound effect when you turn on the system. If you solder these 2 points here, that will actually trigger the startup sound every time you power on a console. Then all you need is a 5 volt and the speaker to be connected and you're done. That's the final product there of the halo, and this is the shell with the base on. Went with a clear red because I wanted it to glow, and I think it looks pretty good. Okay, so the LEDs aren't finalised in position, but I made little 3D printed houses, little squares, so they could sit in and point to the circle in the middle so that it actually lights up and hopefully looks good. The speaker is stuck down in position. Very, very cheap speaker, the sort of thing you'd get inside of an Xbox 360E when I used to change them over, make little sounds. The board here is programmed already and it's stuck there. It's going nowhere. It looks messy. It's not hot glued in place at the moment. That's just on the side to hold the wires. This is just temporary. After this though, we're going to press this button here, which is a tactile one, which I've changed from the original lid switch, because the lid switch itself is very flimsy. It's got no response when you press it, very soft. So for that tactile feel, put a tactile button in, and hopefully when I press this button, nice, then the fan kicks in. Beautiful. Now let's see how it looks with the top on. Testing with the lid on, and it does look fantastic with just 4 LEDs, and it lights up really good in the dark. But obviously with the EL panel it would have looked a lot more uniform, but obviously pros and cons for both. But I think it looks fantastic. So how do you think it turned out? What would you do differently, and what would you like to see next? Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did making it, and I think it's really, really cool. Thanks for watching. Now something I did forget to add was I'm actually playing the games off a micro SD card that I've soldered to the bottom of the memory card slot underneath the system. That allows me to play any game I want legally, that I've backed up to an SD card on the system. Now, if you want to do it yourself, you don't have to solder that in. You don't have to do that. There are devices online which take an SD card into a memory card, and that just goes in your second port on the system. Works exactly the same, so you don't have to faff with any of that. Anyway, thank you so much, and take care.